Hey, we're in another episode of the Inspired Love, Life, and Business podcast. And this one comes to you late because life happens as a mom and someone who does things intuitively. That's going to happen. And that's what's to be expected. If you are interested in listening today to my honest truth and how I work through times of struggle, the three things that I've learned about things that will never change for me. And hopefully it will open your eyes to things that will help you to get past just some tough times or days that are just off. I'd love for you to listen to the rest of this podcast. Let's get inspired. Life is full of surprises, excitement, joy, and struggles, but you don't have to do any of it alone. Welcome to the Inspired Love, Life, and Business podcast. My name is Minden, mama to almost 3 incredible children. I'm a major cheerleader and contributor to my tribe, and I'm a lover of all things positive, creative, and inspiring. I love the 3s too, as you can imagine. Join me as I discover and share new and powerful ways to be inspired through stories of hope, courage, and love. We'll get to know some amazing people in my circle and have conversations with powerful, dominating in their fields and specialties. And I can't promise that you're going to leave without shedding a tear or feeling so ready to start living the life of your dreams. All right, are you ready? Let's get inspired. I'm starting this episode with a little bit of truth, maybe a lot of truth. We'll see. It depends on how far I go. I am pregnant. Let's keep in mind that the hormones are everywhere. I will share with you that it's a lot later than I normally publish my podcast because today has been a crazy day. Someone asked me, have you had a good day? And I actually told them, today's been a little weird. I have learned to stop lying about my day if someone asks and to just say, oh yeah, I'm doing great. I'm doing fine. I'm doing well. How about you? Because it's not being honest with myself if the day has not been great or if there's been just some things that have really gotten to me. And the truth is, yesterday was a bit of a rough day, which then turned into a rough night. And I will tell you, I did learn a few things. So that's what I'll talk about today is things that I've learned about myself over the years that I think you guys might have some connection to. And if not, hopefully it will help you to explore things within yourself and patterns that will help you to live better lives in whatever way that means to you. So if you are new to me, if you're new to this podcast, my name is Minden, and I help overwhelmed mommypreneurs to master their mindset and to lift limitations around freedom in time, money, and energy to be able to achieve confidence, clarity, and consistency in love, life, and business. So with all of those beautiful words, it doesn't mean that things are ever going to be perfect. And I don't ever expect them to be, and don't expect you to think that either. That's why I was honest in saying today was a weird day. I didn't say that it was terrible or that it was awful because it hasn't been, right? Things could always be worse, but it was just that things didn't happen the way that I anticipated. And sometimes it can throw you off or it can help you to do things better. And in my case, I am very fortunate to have a friend who allows me to reflect on the things that are happening. She has a different life perspective, as we should have people who we can go to be able to impart and share different elements of how we feel, how our day goes. And so we don't get lost in our own emotions, especially when you're pregnant and you have a lot of emotions floating around. With all of that being said, I had a rough night. I've actually tried to record this podcast several times today, and I like to do things intuitively. Sometimes I'll do it in advance, but for the most part, whenever I share anything about my life on social media, when I share any kind of inspiration or any kind of content that I come up with, it's usually in the moment because that's when I feel best about it. That's when I feel most connected to what I'm sharing. And that's what I do with my podcast as well. So I sat down multiple times to record my podcast on different things. And every time I stumbled, I had a problem finishing. And that's never happened before. I treat my podcast like a live show because I want to reduce the editing. I want to do as little editing as possible. And therefore, I don't pause. I don't take breaks. I try not to. And I just speak from my heart and deliberately. So throughout these tough times that have happened in the last 24 hours, more than 24 hours, so since early yesterday, but it's given me the time to reflect and the time for me to notice things about myself that have really helped me to determine if it's something that I want to keep in my life, if it's a pattern that keeps repeating because of this or of that. How do I remove it, or how do I manage it so that it doesn't get the best of me? And one of the things I learned is this I've actually known for a while, but I always start every morning with a new, fresh set of eyes. And what I mean by that is all the troubles and possible turmoil of the last day or before I went to sleep usually drifts away, and it goes into dreamland, and I am able to sleep it off so that each new day is something that I can bring a lot of the good parts of myself to, which for me, I'm very fortunate that that happens, because some people, they wake up and they're really groggy or they're tired and they don't have a lot of energy, and it's really tough to get out of bed. It hasn't been that way for me. Yes, I enjoy my sleep. I absolutely love it. But waking up to the sunshine most of the time just really thrills me. And even if it's raining or it's cloudy, it's still typically something that clears my mind from the night before. So that's something that I was reminded of. Every new day is a new opportunity to start fresh, to venture into the things that you didn't get to accomplish the day before, or venture into new ideas and new thoughts, new energy, new feelings. And it's something that I count on, and it's worked beautifully at least 98% of my life. So I knew going into bed that all of my feelings, all the tears that I cried from the day that happened will be okay. That time is going to clear out most things, and that moments are just moments. I was also very aware of the fact that I am emotional, and I can get emotional because I am carrying life, and these feelings and these going to be 9 months is going to fluctuate, or these feelings are going to fluctuate. And sometimes they can carry me into a very, very nice floating sensation and enjoying life and loved ones and everything around me. But sometimes it can also bring me down. And that's okay. It's a part of the process. And if I let it work itself out, if I let it go through all of the stages that it needs to go through, then I will be better at the end. Instead of letting it completely run my life, which means I could really breathe into it and give it life and allow it to just go as crazy as it wants, which means I would say and do whatever it took to completely immerse myself in that emotion, which I have done before and it has not come out pretty. And knowing that these moments pass and recognizing that it is a part of being pregnant and creating life, I allowed it to run its course. I recognized it. And I cried the tears that I needed to cry. And it felt really good. It felt great because I acknowledged it. I let it happen, but I was in control of myself and of it, the feelings, enough to be able to show it love, I think, and to be able to show it the compassion that it needed to be able to play its course and not take control of my life in a way that might really bring it down or really take me to a high that I might crash from. So that in itself is a couple of things. One is every day is a new day. And I know that I'll wash away the painful feelings of the day before if that's what they were, or if that's what it was. And the other thing is moments will come and go. And what I want to treasure and appreciate is my entire life and everything that I cherish and I'm grateful for. All of those things are still here. This one moment is not going to cause everything to crash and burn. Therefore, I'm going to let this moment be a moment and I'm going to let it pass. So those were two things that I learned. Another thing that I learned and I recognized was I desire and deserve more than anger, more than sadness and feelings that engulf me in shame or low self-worth. I know and am constantly reminding myself that the mind is a very, very powerful thing. And I give it the respect that it deserves, in that I will acknowledge when my mind is going places that I don't want or need for it to go. I'll stop it where it is. I'll remind myself that this is not what I want. This is not a part of the life that I'm creating. And I go back to what my goals and my dreams and my perfect life is, right? And when I say perfect, I don't mean that everything is always right, of course, but the life that I desire, the life that I deserve, which will always include joy and happiness. Again, as something that I've mentioned previously and that I will always honor is all of our feelings, our anger, our sadness, all of the feelings that are usually associated with negativity to also deserve to be honored. And so honoring that time and that space means sitting with it and letting it play out, not letting it rule and surpass any of the good, happy, great, joyful things that are a part of my life that would not go away in this specific moment or due to this specific moment. And therefore, it makes it a lot easier to communicate. It makes it a lot easier to apologize. It makes it a lot easier to repair if I have made a mistake, if I have done something wrong, if I have hurt feelings, if I've said something that was in the heat of the moment that I didn't necessarily mean, or if I caused a problem that could possibly linger on, but I choose to make the better of it versus letting it fester and get worse and worse. So to wrap that part up, I will share that allowing emotions and feelings to happen is a really beautiful way to honor the moments that we go through. It doesn't mean that they have to get the best of us, though. And I love that. I love that I was reminded of that. I love that yesterday is just another reminder, and some of today, that life isn't ever going to be perfect. It's never going to be dealt and handed to me in a wonderful way every single day, all the time. But in those moments of struggle, in those moments of emotional struggle, are the moments where I get to learn more about myself. The moments that I get to determine how to best handle myself and my life and retune into where I want to be and who I am and who I want to be. So those really are the three things that I reconnect to. Is every day is a brand new day. Moments will pass. It doesn't determine your entire life. And honoring said moments, or potentially hard moments where you're not at your best. You're not in your best form or shape or feelings or emotion. Those deserve to be honored as well, but they should not ever take over your life or cover up any of the good that you have currently in your life and surrounding you that you are grateful for, the things that you deserve. All of those things still exist and will not ever be removed by one moment of sadness, one moment of anger, one moment of struggle. So I will tell you, I got really angry. I'm going to have to be honest about that, because that's That's just how I process things. Sometimes I get really upset. The difference between how I process my anger now is I use that anger and allow it to be shared in a private room by myself, whether I cry or I scream about it. I let it out so that when I do communicate with a person that I need to, or the people that I need to, I am able to be clear-headed and I can face facts versus of being emotionally driven. And even though it's been a tough day, I've learned a lot from it. And at the end of the day, that's what matters. What are we getting from everything that is happening around us? Because ultimately, life happens. Life is always going to happen. How are we going to handle it? How are we making the most of it? How are we reacting to it? Because that's what matters. Are we going to allow it to drown us? Or are we going to allow it to remind us that life is still beautiful and this is just another step to getting closer to where I should be, where you should be, where we should be? I hope that that connected with you in some way. If it did, I would love for you to share a comment and let me know below. If it did, I would really appreciate it as well if you just share with a friend who might benefit from this discussion and me just sharing things that I don't normally talk about, the struggles, which I know there's a lot more that I could go into, a lot more that I could say, but I don't want to cloud the progress, because ultimately that's what I want to highlight is the progress and what I've learned. And it is honest in that, gosh, no matter how prepared, I hope you have a wonderful day. And I look forward to seeing you again very soon. See ya. Thank you so much for joining me for another powerful conversation on all things positive, inspiring, enlightening, and powerful in relation to love, life, and business. I hope that you took something really important away from this conversation. Maybe you'll be able to take some action. But if you're not ready to end the conversation here, don't forget you can always join me on social media. Find me on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, or YouTube at Inspired Lolibu. That's Inspired Lolibu for love, life, and business. Thank you so much again for listening. I so appreciate your support and I'd love to know your thoughts and comments. Leave them below or send me an email at NHIEN at rainbowreveal.com. I will read every single email that comes in, and I am always on social in my comment section and replying and showing love. Again, like I always say to my community and to my tribe, I love and support each and every one of you. Thank you so much for being here and supporting me. We'll see you next time.